Hey, this is Dylan Tory. You're watching Concerts That Made Us.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, Concerts That Made Us. Interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and the cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
Dylan Tory, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Thank you so much for having me, man. Yeah,
It's great. It's great to have you now. I'm looking forward to diving into your music over the next bit. You recently released the track Dance a Little More. It's incredibly upbeat. Can you take us a bit deeper into it?
Yeah, so I wanted to write a bit of a upbeat, boot scooting, a bit of a country feel type of song with a bit of a message behind it as well. So a bit of a love story, a bit of a romantic love story. So there's a bit of a country vibe, if you can imagine The Notebook in a sort of West country and Western setting, that type of thing. So yeah, that was the vibe of the song, and just trying to get like a bit of an upbeat, get people moving on the dance floor. Put a bit of put something in your soul and fire in your shoes type of vibe.
I get you. I get you. I like it. How do you approach writing, a song like this that's so upbeat and, puts you in a good mood compared to the sadder kind of, not depressing, but you know what I mean? Those type of songs.
Yeah, the more emotional type of stuff. I think they both come from the sort of same place. I think it's all about you obviously write from a melody line first. So it's first going to come with the melody line, and then from there we'll put the lyrics together and try and write a song out of it. Yeah, this song definitely started with the melody line first, and then from there we put the lyrics together and wrote the story behind it. Trying to find that inner Bruce Springsteen type of vibe to it.
Right, right. Is the finished version much different from the original concept?
You mean the original? No. I think that no, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty much
Right,
what it came out. Yeah,
right,
except
right.
for the mandolin. The mandolin was added in the studio, which I thought was quite cool.
I get you. I get you. You worked with Mark Belling as well on this track. What was the dynamic like between you two?
Oh yeah, Mark's a monster. So yeah, it was very good. I mean, Mark and I've been mates for about 15 years. Played the circuit around here in South Africa together, and yeah, just a monster and such a nice guy to work with. So it was very easy. He understood exactly what I wanted out of the music, and I think he got it down to the T. He nailed it.
Yeah, yeah, certainly did. Certainly did. When it came to recording and production, then, is there any challenges or memorable moments that stick out in your mind?
Um, no real challenges. I think more tequila would have been nice, but I mean, I'm just joking. No challenges. Memorable moments. I'd say, just like getting the different sounds together. We really wanted to put together. And some of the other songs you'll hear, there's a bit of a brass section, and not to make it sound like a brass. We wanted more that New Orleans sort of that swampy sort of brass sound. So those are memorable and those type of things. I try to figure out those cool sounding things and trying to get the keys to sound a bit more swampy and a little bit out of tune and a bit, but good still, like with a thick, big sound in it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
those are memorable.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Have you had a chance to play it live yet?
Yeah, yeah.
How's it going
So,
down?
well, I've only done it once with a full band, and then a couple at every show I play it now live. So it goes down well. Yeah, it's going on very well. People love it. So it's doing well.
Right, right. It's something we can expect in set lists going forward, then you won't take it out.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
Now, something I'd love some insight into is South Africa isn't exactly known worldwide for its country scene or country music. What is the country scene like in South Africa?
Uh, I think it's getting there. I think it's on its way up. It's like you said, it's not a very big. We got a very big Afrikaans sort of music niche here, which does, I think they do lend themselves to a lot of country sort of styles in Afrikaans music. But the English scene is very small and very niche at the moment. So, but I think there's a lot of there's big country stars coming to the country at the moment. So, I think in November we got, I think, Zach Brown and Kip Moore and a couple of big American artists coming over, and they're doing a couple of shows around the country. And I think that since last year when they brought Kip Moore here the first time, I think that's now sort of built into, it's becoming a bigger market for us,
Yeah,
which is quite cool.
it seems to be kind of, worldwide country is kind of gone full circle and it's taking over again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. How's the country scene in Ireland? Are you in Ireland?
Yeah, Ireland, Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland is
Yeah.
kind of weird. We have our own country scene that goes back generations, and it's completely different from like the typical American country. It's kind of very folksy, but then this year and last year, like I'd imagine radio in South Africa, it's nothing but country hits from America. Like you mentioned, the artists that came last year, all their songs are being played. Then you have
Yeah.
the likes of Beyonce doing country songs and everything now. So it's like country is probably the most popular genre over here at the moment.
Oh, that's great. But I mean, you guys have got some pretty good fiddle players over there in Ireland.
Yeah,
Some of
yeah.
the best, I think. Yeah? Some of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely. That would be more Irish folk, and traditional Irish music. That's way ahead of country, in my opinion. Well, Irish country.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it. That Celtic vibe. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good vibe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's great at a party. Or, when you go
Yeah.
to a pub, closing time happens and just lock the door and the fiddles come out and you're there until like 8 o'clock the next morning.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I need to come visit.
Yeah,
I need to
definitely,
come visit.
definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you've been in the industry for 20 years and you've fronted many bands, but now you're doing the solo thing. What kind of led to that decision? Why embark on a solo career?
Uh, I think it's just being in bands and stuff. You gotta always watch out for it's a business. So you always got five or four or whatever how many members in the band, and everyone's got their own opinion and own thing and their own way they want to go. And a lot of times the band sort of break up because due to different opinions. So being solo, it just makes it a lot easier. You get to do what you really want to do, and but I still use a lot of session members and stuff like that. But it just takes the emotion out for them, on top of things. So it's all about I put my emotion into it, and then you get paid for the job. That's it, type of thing. So yeah,
Right, right,
I,
right.
I guess it just makes it a bit more easier to work with, if you can say it like that.
The only
Yeah,
person you have to argue with is yourself.
it's yourself. Yeah, and if it goes wrong, you don't have it. You got to blame yourself. If it goes right, you give yourself props. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, yeah. And before we dive into some concert questions, I have to mention in 2016 you appeared on The Voice South Africa. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was cool. TV is a different thing. I think for musos in general, because we're not like really actors or we don't really perform to any script. But yeah, it was amazing in the sense that it opened so many doors. I met so many cool people. I met some really rad musicians, phenomenal like band behind the scenes, and TV production was a cool thing to learn. It was a very cool thing to learn. So I enjoyed it. I really did. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, bit of an interesting one for you now. We all know the positives of appearing on TV, but what are some of the negatives? How can it negatively impact your career, do you think?
Well, yeah, I guess you got to uphold yourself. That's the thing. You can't get um, too messy. I guess let's say, yeah. Like you say, those those nights when you go out partying, you're gonna have to close the door and then stay inside until 8 o'clock the next morning, and hope nobody sees you. Yeah, yeah.
I
I think
get you.
that's the negative. Yeah, and I guess you always got to be on your best performance. That's the thing. You got to be on your best behavior.
I was just going to say, do you still get people at gigs mentioning it and referencing the voice?
Yeah, still a few, especially the songs that I did on TV. There's a lot of guys that sort of request those. I get a lot of the all the ladies in the shopping centers, all the older ladies, that sort of recognize you and that type of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd say so. Now, as I mentioned, concert questions. It is called Concerts That Made Us, after all. So first off, as a concert goer, what concerts would you say have made you?
Okay, well, it starts back. I think when I was like 5 years old or something, the first concert I ever saw was a blues musician called Robin Ford. I don't know if you know of him.
No.
And that sort of like ignited the whole thing. That was the first live concert I ever went to, and that was like I was blown away by that. And then recently, I've seen Dave Matthews twice. That was phenomenal. My best concert I've ever been to was Mumford and Sons. That was probably the best one I've seen. The best band I thought was, they were just phenomenal live.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters were good. Who else? But I mean, yeah, I'd say Mumford and Sons blew me away. They were just, phenomenal in the sense that everyone played. There was no track with it. It was just live, and the show was phenomenal. It sounded better than the album. And I guess the scenery also helps. It started to like rain in the middle of the thing, and there was lightning in the background. So it was a phenomenal show to be at.
Oh man, it sounds it. It sounds it. What makes a good show for you?
It must be, well, obviously the band's got to be tight and good, and the sound's got to be amazing. And then obviously the venue setting, that's also another thing, is the sound good. I mean, I saw Chili Peppers. Okay, I did sit right at the back of the concert, but I mean, you could hardly hear anything, type of thing. And so that type of thing. When I watched Ed Sheeran as well, Sheeran was good. It was phenomenal to see what a guy can do just on his own on such a big stage. But I mean, I guess it wouldn't hit me the same way, like I say, Foo Fighters or Mumford hit me type of thing. It was just the setting had to be cool, and it's about the sound and the interaction and how it blows you away type of thing. There was no gimmicks or smoke and mirrors. It was just pure rock and roll and good.
Yeah, completely. And growing up, how did your local music scene influence your later sound, or did it?
I don't think very much. I mean, when I started out, there was quite a big scene in the sort of rock sort of industry and the circles there. And now it's sort of like tapered down, locally. So now it's not very big rock. Like I say, there's a lot of Afrikaans music, which I don't do any Afrikaans music. So I'm really fighting on the international level, which is quite cool. If I can break through there, it'll be amazing. Locally, in the cover scene and stuff like that. There's just bars and that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't say anything really from the African thing. I grew up in a house that listened to a lot of blues and soul and that type of stuff. So that's always been, the backbone of my music, and obviously the earlier bands like Zeppelin and the Beatles and Elvis and all that type of stuff. That stuff really shaped to the music I like.
Yeah. I like it. And the moment we're all waiting for any listeners that haven't been lucky enough to catch one of your shows, what are they like? Give us the full experience if you can.
Well, it's a very interactive. It's raw in the sense of that there's no effects or anything. It's live as live can be. There's no gimmicks. There's no processing. There's nothing. It's the instruments and the vocals, and it is a show, and it's interactive, and it's a sing along, and it's a really get yourself involved with and get up and dance and sing along type of show. So it's very interactive.
Sounds like a hell of a time. How do you approach putting set lists together? Are you very conscious of it, or will you just throw anything in?
Well, yeah, in the cover stuff that I do, in the cover shows that I do, I tend not to put a set list together. So I tend to try and read off what the crowd wants, you know. I find that way that you're not sort of stuck to one sort of, you know, show. So it can move any way. You know, some nights you walk into a crowd and it seems to be very chilled and you need to build it up. And some nights you walk into a crowd and they're rowdy and they're ready to go. So you need to, you know, you need to pick it up from where it starts, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm not a big fan of set lists, but I'm obviously now with original stuff, I am putting down set lists and, you know, just still trying to, you know, get the show off to a good start and then bring it down a bit and then build it up and then have an epic ending type of thing to it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I get you. Out of all the gigs you've played in your career, is there one that kind of sits above the rest? You know, it couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, well, there's a few. I mean, obviously, I played the World Cup. You know, when the World Cup football was here in 2010, there were some great shows there. A lot of people. I'd say, like, you know, I played like 4,000 to 2,000 people on average a night, which was very cool. But the one show that really sticks out to me was a show I did probably 15 years ago, and there was probably only 7 people in the crowd, and it was one of the coolest shows because everyone was on the tables dancing. I think, you know, with the bottles, absinthe going around, and it just became wild. And it was crazy, you know. It was a full band. I think there was 6 of us on stage with 7 people in the crowd, and it just was mind blowing how crazy these people went. You know, so it was like having an intimate show in a bar, but it was it was quite cool. You know, it was very cool. So that
Oh
show
man.
was probably one of my favorites to do in the sense of how mad those 7 people went. You know, and it was still played. It will be still played at like a big stadium show, but it was only
Oh man.
7 people. So that was one of the coolest memories I have out of playing live music. But obviously, the bigger crowds, you know, the 5,000 people, those are always great. Those are always fun. You know,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as the sound on stage is good. That's the other thing. You know, because
That's
okay,
the
they can
main
get
thing.
terrible. Yeah, yeah, that could get crazy.
Yeah. If you flip that around then, is there a show or gig that you would consider the worst? You know, everything went wrong and how did you overcome it?
Oh, real. The worst. Jeez. Oh, there's been moments. There's been many moments. What's the worst? I think, yeah, there was one that we played. There was one we played in Swaziland a few years ago, and you know, we thought it was quite a nice crowd, a big crowd and stuff. But I don't think the crowd got us at all. You know, it was a whole different group of people, and I don't think they felt us or understood us, or no, it just didn't happen. You know, and that was quite weird. That was probably the one show I was like, oh, okay, I can't wait to get off this stage. You know, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you get through a show like that? Do you just kind of go on autopilot and just sing, play, and wait till the end, or
No, I think you try and fight. I think you try and fight, and you try and win over the crowd as much as you can. You try and adapt to what you think they're gonna, what will get them, and then find a direction from there. But I don't think that night we got them at all. You know, I think we lost them completely, and yeah, I think we did the 2 hour show, and then we got off stage and we went straight to the bar. And then yeah, cried it away. I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those. It happens, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
true, true. And when it comes to showtime, then pre-show and post-show, how do you psych yourself up, and then afterwards, how do you wind down?
Yeah, well, sucking. You know, obviously I still get nervous, which is a good thing. You know, I think it's a good thing to have nerves. Um, yeah, not much psyching. I think once you know, my whole thing is if I can just get through the first song, then the show will go. You know, so you know, psyching up, just relaxing, keeping it calm, making sure everything is nice and loose and ready to go. And then after the show, yeah, it probably takes me about 3 hours to like sort of chill afterwards. You know. So I struggle to sleep, I guess, and that type of thing. So I don't, you know, good, nothing wrong with a good drink afterwards and just chilling and laying low, and then yeah, and then getting to bed and getting ready for the next one. That would be it.
Right, right. I was going to ask, you know, say for instance, on a Saturday night, you play the most amazing gig of your career. You get up Sunday, Monday morning, it's kind of back to reality. How do you deal with that kind of those emotions, those feelings?
Oh, I don't know. I guess you got to take the two completely separate. You know what I'm saying? There's obviously the man at home and the man and like, you know, Batman at night, you know. It's that whole thing. You know,
Right.
especially me, I've got lots of kids and stuff, so yeah, it's full house here at my house as well. And then, you know, at nighttime, you know, I get to become something else, which is cool. Or during, you know, weekends or whenever, you know, when the showtime, I'm definitely someone else.
That's actually a very good way to do it. I really like that. I don't hear that type of answer enough, you know? It's a very good one.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have alter ego, I guess, and everyone wants to be that. I mean, that's been growing in us since we were kids, you know. Like, I want to be that rock star. That's the
Mm.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of rock stars, maybe you've probably calmed down now considering you've kids and everything, but over the years, what kind of antics did you get up to on the road? Anything you can share that won't get you in trouble?
Oh, there's lots. There's been some crazy moments. There's been flipping cars in dunes.
Right.
But getting out of it, sleeping in that same car until 8 o'clock the next morning to waiting for help to get us. Um, all because, you know, wanted to take a couple of girls out to the beach type of thing after the
Uh,
show. Yeah, yeah, there's been some cool road stories. I don't know which ones are not going to get me in trouble, but yeah, there's been lots. You know, I've done some silly, crazy things, and ended up in crazy places and stuff. Yeah, but
right.
yeah,
And live to
I
tell
guess
the tale.
I live to tell the tale. Yeah, yeah. I guess what goes on the road must stay on the road. That's the whole thing. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. Now,
yeah.
before we dive into the last couple of questions, future plans. I hear there may be an album down the line.
Yeah, so I'm planning on releasing the full album, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe early next year. But I'm aiming for the end of this year, and then the full album will come out. So I think the next single will drop now in the next month or so, and then we'll see how that one does, and then maybe another single. We'll just go with the album from there. So yeah, I'm looking very much forward to that. Yeah, and then yeah, just future plans and just do a lot of gigs, try and get the show out there. I'm coming to the UK now in September, from the 1st to the 10th of September. So I'm going to meet up with a couple of muso mates of mine there, and, you know, just sit in and do a couple of songs and, you know, do a bit of guest appearance with them, with those guys as well. So I'm looking forward to that as well. You know, so come over to your side of the world and jam a bit there.
That's going to be pretty epic. Have you ever played in England before?
No, never. This will be my first time.
Oh man. Oh man, you're in for a treat.
I love it. I
Or
can't wait.
more like the
Yeah.
crowd is in for a treat.
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
Yeah, yeah. And the album, what can we expect from it? Can you share anything about it at this stage?
Yeah, so you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's very based on the sort of country soul type of vibe, you know. So there's always elements of country. There's a lot of bit of folk vibes in there as well, which I think the Irish crowd will like, you know, which I did, you know. And then there's a lot of soul. So there's a lot of deep, meaningful storytelling songs about and soulful feelings and stuff like that, and good vibes. And then yeah, there's some upbeat dance country tracks as well. Yeah,
Geez, sounds like the perfect package. It has something for everybody.
I hope so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited for people to hear
yeah, yeah. Well, bring it on, you know. Hurry up with
it.
the
Yeah,
release date. Right,
yeah.
the last couple of questions. So there are a couple of fun random ones, but I'm intrigued to see
Okay.
your answers. First off, besides music, what are you currently obsessed with?
Paddle. Have you played paddle?
No. What is
Do you know
it?
what paddle is? It's like it's a cross between tennis, squash, tennis and squash inside like a court thing. It's quite cool. It's like a
Oh,
Spanish game. It's like some Spanish sport. That's like quite new. So yeah, that's quite cool. Been playing a lot of that, which is quite fun.
hmm, sounds interesting. I'll have to look it up
I
and
like I
try give
like
it a
golf
go.
as well. I'm loving my golf as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. The next one, it's a bit odd. If you had to spend 24 hours locked in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Good question. I'd say Elvis.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
What
I'd say
wh- What would you hope to learn from the king?
Well, what would it do? What would it, obviously
Yeah.
not. I wouldn't go on his acting. I'd say nothing about that. No, I guess it's all that grassroots stuff, though, and the essence of cool and where he sort of generated all that vocal finesse from, that stylish, that swagger. Yeah, but I mean the acting was shite, so we're not gonna go into that.
Yeah, yeah. Random one. I
uh,
just thought of if you had to pick one Elvis movie that you like, what would it be?
uh, which one was good? I think it was that Viva Las Vegas was okay. I guess
Yeah.
was it
Yeah,
Las Vegas?
with Anne
Yeah,
Margaret, wasn't it?
yeah, that one was all right.
Yeah.
That was all
Yeah.
right.
For
I must
as
say my
far as
favorite Irish my favorite Irish movie is that Commitments. That's pretty good.
yeah,
The
actually
Commitments.
that's a very good one.
Yeah,
That's like a national treasure over here.
yeah. Is it? I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that one line where the guy rocks up on the motorbike, the sax player, and the dad says to him like, what are you doing here? He's like, I came for audition. Like, who sent you? He's like, God sent me. He's like, what a fucking Suzuki. I fucking love it. Brilliant.
Oh, it is. It is. If you like that movie, there's three other movies that were made by the same people. They're not really music based, but they have the same kind of tone and comedy in it. Look up the books and the movies by Roddy Doyle. One is called The Van, and I can't remember the other two, but they'll come up there.
Did he
Oh,
do?
they're
Did he do the one?
hilarious.
Did he do the other one? Love for Dogs or something like that.
I think he
So,
might have. Yeah,
so
yeah.
with the dog, the horse, the dog racing thing. It was hilarious. It was brilliant.
It's not
I
Man
think it was
About Dog, I think, is it?
Mad About Dogs. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was who did that? Whose movie is that?
I I think it might be Roddy Doyle. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but it's
That was brilliant.
it's another
That was
classic.
brilliant.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was brilliant. Yeah,
Definitely.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the final one. What is your go-to album? An album you constantly revisit?
Hmm. Um. Sure. It's a big one, eh? Yeah, that's a massive one because there's so many. I say, what is the one that really gets you? I guess it goes on the mood, but I mean, okay, there's a lot of Zeppelin stuff. But I wouldn't say Zeppelin in the sense. The one that it's going to sound weird. It's the Matchbox 20 album that one with Unwell on. That album there.
Mm,
I think it
yeah.
was Unwell. That album is, for me, just if you want to like listen to well-written songs and it's got cool emotion, like even if you feeling good or bad, I really, really enjoy that album. I think I like Matchbox 20. Yeah, it's a good album.
Yeah, yeah. Good choice. Good choice. Listen,
Yeah,
Dylan, this has been an absolute blast now. Thanks a million.
Brian, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and the cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concerts that made us.com.